You're listening to the Screen Team on 930 KWOC.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
To infinity and beyond!
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Please, what does it always mean? This Junior.
That's his name. Henry Jones Jr.
Like Indiana.
We named the dog Indiana.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
I am your father.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Bond. James Bond.
And now the Screen Team on News Radio 930 KWOC. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Screen Team on today's talk 930 KWOC and 93.3 FM. Local movie reviews right here in Southeast Missouri. Thank you for joining us this evening. Have a very special show for you tonight. We've got Screen Teamer Stacy Anderson in the studio. Stacy, good to see you. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. You're being joined by a very beautiful man to the left of you.
Hey, he's somewhat of a little local celebrity himself, so we may be in the presence of greatness here.
Why don't you do the introduction for us?
Well, this is my darling other half, Doug.
Doug, how are you?
You might know him as the drummer for Damnation Alley. You know.
Yeah, and various other guys that call me, hey, being a drummer.
Drummer extraordinaire.
I guess that's what you call me. I'm the go-to guy.
So you guys have been married for quite a long time. Quite a long time. And you guys do a lot of going to concerts and going and watching Doug play musical shows and stuff like that. But you guys also watch a lot of movies too. You guys are big movie buffs, right?
We do.
And you guys have picked 3 movies here that are kind of close to your hearts a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Somewhat, yeah.
The first one is a classic back from the late 80s. It's called Roadhouse, right?
Roadhouse.
You guys got it. I love it, man. Roadhouse was produced back in 1989. It's an action film directed by Rowdy Harrington, and it stars the late, great Patrick Swayze, and it also has Stacy's man, Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott.
What's for dinner?
So, all right, guys. First off, before we get into the kind of description of the movie and whether or not you guys like it or not, do you guys remember your first experience watching this as a couple?
Gosh, I don't know. We've seen it so many times. It's hard to. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't really. I don't know if I
count that high.
I don't know. We've about gone through a copy of it. Plus, every time it's on TV.
Right.
It's a good go-to movie. Like, what do you want to watch? I don't know. What do you want to watch? It's always Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
So give us the description. What is this about? Patrick Swayze. He's a bouncer. Is that right?
He's a cooler.
He's a cooler. What's a cooler?
A bouncer.
That's like. He's like the a cooler is like the.
He's the boss of the bouncers.
He's like the king of the bouncers. I mean, he's the best. Well, Wade Garrett's the best, but he's getting old. So Dalton.
Wade's getting old.
Dalton is the best right now.
The name is Dalton.
Yeah.
So Patrick, he's the cooler, and he works for this. Does he work for this one particular bar, or is he like a hired hand?
He's
like an independent contractor.
He's kind of his own thing, but he just goes whoever has the most problems and pays the most money.
So there's this bar in Texas, right? That's got
no, it's in Missouri.
Jasper, Missouri.
Missouri, really?
Yeah. Jasper.
You can tell I've watched this movie quite a few times.
Well.
So it's in Missouri. Wow, I didn't know that. That's cool. Okay, so it's in Missouri. They hire Patrick Swayze to kind of clean up the act a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's in one of those little small towns where like one guy, Brad Wesley, kind of runs the place. Mm-hmm. He sort of runs roughshod, I guess, over the place and kind of bosses everybody around. It's a little bitty small town, and
moved there right after the Korean War.
Yeah, and
took the town over.
JCPenney's
come there because
JCPenney's came there because of him, and he kind of has his hand in everything, and Dalton, played by Patrick Swayze, doesn't really deal with that. He's for the good of the people, and if you're bad, he doesn't care. He'll just kick your butt and rip your throat out.
All right. So what is the? What is the bad guy? What does he want out of this? He wants to take over the town, and Patrick Swayze is inhabitant, right?
Yeah. Well, this one guy, I guess he must have inherited this bar or something, and so he wants to make a better life for himself, as he says, and he hires him to kind of clean the place up a little bit, just so that people can go in and drink and have a good time, and Brad Wesley feels threatened because Patrick Swayze ends up going with Elizabeth, who I guess was an interest of the bad guys at one time, and that just kind of gets the bad blood flowing and the blood flowing, really.
Yeah, the beer and the blood.
So explain, why do you guys like this film? Why is this a classic in the Anderson homestead?
Action. Just nonstop action.
It's full of one-liners, and hey, it's got Sam Elliott in it. I can hardly ever watch it past a certain point because
Sam Elliott is your modern-day cowboy. He comes riding in on a Harley. I mean, it's just
come to save the day. His opening line is there a scrawny little runt named Dalton working here?
And then the owner says, "I know who you are."
Yeah. And it just goes from there because Patrick Swayze's kind of like the Sam Elliott's kind of apprentice guy or whatever. He's kind of following in his footsteps, and it's good stuff. It's a good movie.
I can tell you guys are beaming about this movie.
I love this movie.
The movie's awesome.
The movie is good, but also the soundtrack is good too, right, Doug?
Oh yeah, Jeff Healey Band. I pretty much done every song on the soundtrack except for there were a couple he didn't do. Bob
he's in the movie.
Yeah, he's in the movie.
He plays the house band.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it actually has his band members, his real band members in his band in the movie too, which you don't normally get that. You'll get some fill-in guys, but it's actually his band in the movie. And I believe they played all of the songs live in the movie.
Yeah.
I think anything was really recorded.
Yeah.
Behind the chicken wire and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Behind
it's
the
a
chicken
rough
wire.
place. It's a rough place.
Yeah, when you first get there, the Double Deuce is just, chicken wire. I mean, just chaos. Then the guy puts a little money in it, turns to a classy place, of course.
Classier.
Yeah, classier. It's a bar.
It's a rough bar, and it's full of life insights, and there's a little English lesson in there, about what's a noun and what's not a noun, and you get all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's just a great movie. It doesn't have a whole lot of. I don't think it has any special effects in it. There's an explosion or two, but it's a clean movie, and I don't mean. I mean, it's filmed very clean. It's not a clean movie, but
I guess a high budget.
It's
raw type movie, but a good budget to tell a rough story. So to speak.
Pretty sure Patrick Swayze did his own stunts, that kind of thing.
Actually, that's the one thing I really do remember when the movie come out. It was one of the first movies that where the stunt man, which was played, or the guy that actually was the stunt man actually played as a character in the movie too. Not Joe, is it Jimmy?
Oh, Jimmy.
Marshall Teague is the name of the actor.
Yes. They actually, him and Patrick Swayze actually went through the stunt sequence, the fight sequence, and there was a lot of actually hand-on-hand, fighting. And I remember watching that. I want to say it was on HBO, and they were talking about behind the scenes, and it was a really authentic thing because before that, everything was very, kind of fake punch, but this was kind of really a lot of contact.
That's okay because Jimmy gets his.
Oh, yeah. It's a stroke ripped out.
Right by the water's edge.
I love it.
It's a great movie.
That was another myth to Patrick Swayze's character, Dalton, is did he or did he not do this thing? The rumor was that when he was in Memphis as a cooler, he got into a fight with a guy over a woman and ripped a man's throat out. But nobody ever really knew for sure until they seen him actually do it.
And you kind of get a little insight because him and Wade Garrett, who's played by Sam Elliott, they're like best buddies, and they have this moment in a diner, and Wade Garrett's like, man, you got to cut it loose. You just got to let it go. It was him or you, and you did what you had to do. And
yeah. When a man sticks a gun in your face, you got two things to do. You got a choice to make. You got two things to do. You can either run or you can kill him. And it's like, wow. And that kind of puts it in perspective, because up to this point, you're just thinking, I heard all this nonsense, but nobody really knows. Well, that's your moment of clarity. Now you know.
And it's also really, awesome, especially when Sam Elliott says it, because he's got that awesome voice, man.
How to deliver it.
It's called Roadhouse. Starring Patrick Swayze. Coming up after the break, we'll do From Dusk Till Dawn here on Today's Talk 930 KWOC.